and welcome to my review of The Woman Who Fell to Earth. This is the third take. Not because I've said the wrong thing, because I've been putting loads of lights on. That's gone off. That's a shame. Infinity Gauntlet, activate. I spent money. Okay, so my review of The Woman Who Fell to Earth. What did I think of it overall? First impressions. Great. Really good. In fact, it's my first point because, as always, I have 7 things to say about this episode. I do have to literally write them down. They're down there staring at me so I don't forget what I'm going to say. Sort of scripted, sort of ramble. So, point 1 is proved me wrong, and I'm glad. Chris Chibnall has managed to write an excellent female Doctor, and I'm going to not say female Doctor anymore. And I know I've said that in a previous video, but I mean, I broke that rule in the same video, so, you know, what can you do? Chris Chibnall, excellent writing for the Doctor. It's a superb episode, it really is. One of the best series openers, I think, up there with the others that I said in my top 5. In fact, Smith and Jones, I'm not really sure why it was up there in the first place, and I'd rather slot this episode in there than have Smith and Jones there. That can go away. So, proved me wrong in that I was a Doctor skeptic for Jodie Whittaker. I thought that it was a poor choice. I didn't like it. However, having watched the episode, I am now pleased with the choice. She is brilliant. And no, I'm not quoting the Doctor. I'm saying she is genuinely brilliant.
Oh, brilliant.
As the Doctor. And me and my mum and dad were all talking afterwards and said that you can sort of feel a bit of Tennant coming through her, but obviously they're friends and Tennant was the first Doctor she spoke to, so that might be why. I don't know. Maybe an inspiration was gleaned from him or something. But yeah, Tennant-esque a little bit. Just a little bit. But yes, proved me wrong. So thank you for that, Chris Chibnall. Okay, point 2. Who's who? Well, Jodie is who, but my point is, who are the other characters? Well, we have Graham, played by Bradley Walsh, superbly. I could anticipate what his character was before I saw the episode. So he is an alien skeptic. He is scared. He doesn't understand what is going on around him, and he doesn't really want to. That was like I could see that happening. What I didn't see happening was that basically half the TARDIS team are actually related, sort of. So Graham is the granddad by marriage of Ryan Sinclair, as played by Tosin Cole. Now, he is a very interesting character. Dyspraxia, when they said the word, I thought, this is interesting. So we're going to get some more awareness of other disabilities within the show. And they don't really go for disabilities with companions, but I think this is really interesting. So dyspraxia, for those of you who don't know, is a basic loss of balance. I suffer from dyspraxia. I couldn't ride a bike for a while. I wasn't 19 when I couldn't ride a bike. I was younger than that. And I learnt to ride a bike through using stabilizers and other things. For a long time, I didn't ride a bike. For a long time, I used a scooter that had 3 wheels, because that was better. It had more grip, more stability than having 2 wheels like that. It was sort of 3 wheels like that. So you got 2 at the back and 1 at the front, 1 big BMX wheel at the front. It was a cool scooter. Ryan Sinclair, interesting character. Lastly, we have Yaz, or Yasmin, and she is a police officer. And altogether, those 3 plus the nanny and I will be doing spoilers in this video, just in case you weren't aware, and I'll put it in the name of the video, so you've had fair warning. The Nan, I can't remember her name, because she's not a main character and it hasn't been forced down my throat for the last month or so online. But she, as part of the group, they managed to cover all bases in Sheffield. So we had Ryan on social media. He's a YouTuber, and he has a following online. We have Yaz, who's a police officer. We have the Nan, who's a nurse, and we have Graham, who's an ex-bus driver and is friends with a load of bus drivers. And I thought that was amazing that we have a great bunch of resourceful people as our new TARDIS team. I think that's great. The tone of the show, it's a lot darker than I thought it would be. A lot darker. This episode had... How many on-screen deaths did it have? Or just off-screen deaths? I like the fact that every time somebody's going to die, it just pans very slightly over and then you just hit... Ah! So the tone, very, very dark. Oh, how many on-screen deaths? One... This is just me counting now. I want to say 4 on-screen deaths. 4 or 5 on-screen deaths in this episode alone. One of them being one of the main characters of the episode, which was bold. Very bold, but gives Graham and Ryan something... gives them a good plot to follow. So they've just suffered grievances and now are looking to do something to make a difference, to do something for the Nan or something like that. But that's how I see the series going. But yeah, tonally very, very good, but very dark. Not to the point where we're talking about main characters coming back from the dead and then dying all over again, like some sort of Danny Pink psychotherapy trauma or whatever those words were. I will burn. But yeah, very good. I like it. My next point, number 4, is just titled, Look Out, There's a Monster Coming. Now, I couldn't tell you what the monster of this episode was. I'm going to describe him as Guy Covered in Teeth, which was in itself very dark and quite sinister. But yeah, this was an interesting story, an interesting monster. I found that the plot of that, and I'm going to come on to plot in a second, but the monsters arc in this episode was good as well. Not necessarily just evil out to kill, but there is purpose behind it. And purpose behind it killing. Oh, it was interesting. I think having a good monster helps for you to have a good episode. If it's a rubbish monster, then you lose it. Which didn't happen. So the next is the plot, and this is the point where it gets a little bit spit-spotty. I've only seen the episode once. Obviously, it's only just come out. This is Sunday night. So the plot starts as there's a vase-type egg thing. These are just the major points of the plot. Well, I suppose the first bit is Ryan finds the Doctor Strange-style writing in the air, and he goes, boop, because you do, don't you? And then there's the vase egg, and then the vase egg goes missing. Meanwhile, on a train, there's a squiggly wiggly, electric-y thing that goes zap, zap, zap on all the main characters. This was good. I don't know what I'm saying really here. The plot was good. It was a bit spit-spotty because the Doctor's mind changed as to what was happening. But it's more believable like that. It's not a case of, I know exactly what is happening. This, and this. Right. Let's Deus Ex Machina our way out of this, shall we? Alon Zai. Right? No, instead we had a case of, I was wrong, it's this. No, hang on, no, it's this. No, it's this. No. Yes, no. Yes, no. Tenant. Anyway, point 6. That's 6. Now that is 6. I'm gonna put the screwdriver down before I hurt someone. I.e. myself. That cliffhanger. Whew. I could see it coming a mile off that the 3 were going to be taken with the Doctor, but having them appear in the middle of space, nowhere near a planet, was... oh god, it was almost like, oh dear. And you can see the companions going... I thought that was a nice way to go. Now, there's no double episodes in this series. There's none of that, basically. But I think Chibnall's going to have an interconnected story going the whole way through, or at least a transition between the 2 stories. So, end of this episode, appears in space. The next episode, they might get picked up, or something like that. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking the style of... I mean, they almost did it in Series 10 with Smile. The Doctor arrives in the TARDIS in Victorian London, it's snowing, and that's connected directly to Thin Ice. So yeah, it's a interesting new style of it, and I like it, so let's go with it. Lastly, that theme tune. They've gone back, right back to Hartnell and added more drums. I'm really hoping it's not too heavy on the drums. The closing titles look like the original... that thing that's going woo, 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 as it's going when Jodie arrived in that train carriage, it did the and then faded into another piece of music, and that was all we got for the opening titles. We didn't get a proper opening titles this week, and Chibnall did say we wouldn't, but it was noticeably missing. However, it would have slowed the plot down, and I feel that there was so much to do in this episode. They did it. They spaced it out incredibly well. There wasn't any point that I was sat there going, okay, next bit, please. It was always, oh, this is great. It's moving at a good pace. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. The end. Great. Next week. Let's go. Now. Come on. Sunday. Let's speed up the week. I want to see the intro, please. That's about it, really. The theme is great, by the way. I like it, but I hope it's not too drummy. That is it. That's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I enjoyed this episode. Did you enjoy this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, bye.